this is Frankie Abbruzzino with Suncoast News and Scoop, and today we're talking affordable housing and how the governments are trying to play a role in ensuring that houses are more affordable. Some will question if government should even play a role in that, but let's go ahead and cover it since that is what's happening. It's something that's been going on for a while on the Scoop. I constantly hear of this affordable housing issue, and it goes back years prior to the significant increase in the cost of housing, and nobody really has done anything until now. And now they're in panic mode because everybody's upset because the cost of housing is so much, and because we're seeing rent increases in our area. I think they said it's somewhere around 30%, which is a significant increase. I've heard of people having their rent increase $500 per month, which is a major impact. So all the municipalities are getting together, not really getting together, I'm sure some of them are discussing it, and they're trying to look at ways to make things more affordable. The county has allotted $25 million of the federal pandemic money towards affordable housing. They're discussing it and trying to see what they can do. You have cities like Venice looking at the LDRs and how can we adapt them and make it more friendly. Northport's doing stuff, and the same with the city of Sarasota. Some of the actions I'm not so sure about, like Northport increasing impact fees, well, that's counterproductive to affordable housing. So when we look at it and we drill down to see what they're doing, and they're looking at the different various studies. If you go to Sarasota, you look at what they're doing, and their focus is what Brody, one of the council members and former mayor, and I think county commissioner candidate, is calling visionary. They're saying inclusionary zoning is what's working. You've seen some inclusionary zoning mandated in places like Miami, and they've had great success. Basically, they say, look, you're going to go ahead and construct this project, and you're going to leave so much out there for affordable housing. It's going to be a mixed-use residential zoning in a commercial corridor, and they're going to give the developers incentives to build there in these inclusionary zoning areas. And you'll see in places like in downtown in the Park East neighborhood. And will that work? Or is it more of the same, where developers are making out and it's yielding next to nothing? One of the biggest issues you have with this type of inclusionary zoning, or where the state comes in and says you have to allocate so many units towards affordable housing, are they really affordable? And I've watched these council meetings, city, county, and everything through the years, as many of you know. They'll come in and say, that's one of the pitches, and Jeff Boone does this a lot, we're building affordable housing. Well, you look at it, and they love saying that word, affordable housing, that catchword. It gets everyone's attention. They're all for it, but is it affordable? If you go in, is a house, if they're building a development and the houses are going for $500,000, and they're going to allocate 5 houses as affordable at $450,000, is that really affordable? And some people would say no. And then there's a problem with, once a person buys that house, guess what? They can sell it at market value, and then it's no longer affordable. And so is that working? Or how about the partnerships? You have these private sector, public sector partnerships, like the city of Venice recently did with a nonprofit. They gave some money, actually the county, city, and some other people towards, I think it was a 10 unit, I could be wrong on that. And basically it got down, the rent is affordable enough so that they can go in there. I think it's more of a transitional home. I'll try to find the article and post it on my website for anyone that's on Facebook or Instagram and watching this video. So you're seeing this whole groundswell, and cities are all around the area from Sarasota to Northport. They're looking at different things. Northport and Sarasota are looking at the inclusionary zoning, whereas Venice is not really looking at that. Will work. You have people like Thaxton, who's a former county commissioner, which with the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, and he's saying, look, I like a lot of the affordable housing tools that are out there. We're seeing everything, he said, but the city and Sarasota and the Venice and the county, they have different measures like expedited permitting measures, conversion of county surplus land towards affordable housing. Charlie, I think his name's Charlie Chris, was a county commissioner. He once suggested Sarasota Square Mall, since everybody's leaving there, it already has the infrastructure, electric, water. Why not buy that in a private-public partnership and see what we can do there? But that fell on flat ears. That was a few years ago. He's been out for what? He's been out for a couple years, I think. So what do? State law dictates that local governments have to offset the cost of developers when mandating affordable housing as part of their developments. So you're seeing some action like that. You have other tools out there that people are taking advantage of. One is on the density. And will that work? Well, Venice is looking at density, and they basically came in and voted in a 4-to-1 vote and said, look, we're going to change the proposed codes. We're going to include density bonuses that are awarded to developers who build affordable housing with those extra units. They created a 10-year window during which the rent in those units cannot be increased. It passed 4-to-1. You have people like Ron, the mayor, who said, I want a 15-year window, so I'm not voting. Unfortunately with him, he's been rather quiet on environmental issues, development issues until now. Well, like I said, somebody told me he picked up paperwork to run for mayor again. Will he? I don't know. But a lot of his emails in the last 2 months have been leading me to think he will. Stuff like this. He knew that the 4-to-1 vote for a 10-year window was going to pass. So he had room to say, no, I want a 15-year and vote against it. It helps him for the election. On this whole height issue, and you can even look at that real quick. I got that window up. Right now, the current code is you can do it whatever you want. Basically, it's unlimited. You can get waivers all the time, and they try to control the height. So the new LDR, they're trying to control the height and say it's X. The problem is I keep hearing the mayor come out and say stuff that's inaccurate. And if you read Earl, who I got to tell you, Earl with the Herald pisses me off sometimes, but he's pretty fair and balanced. If you read the actual LDRs, you will see what they're trying to do is bring it so that it's more controlled. You can't get waivers constantly, and they're trying to control the height. I've seen where the mayor has put out false information. Now, what he's doing is he's, again, politicizing. He's hoping that people remember this come election time. He knows it's inaccurate. He knows that his vote will not be the deciding factor. And you got to question is, why are the others going the opposite direction? Someone like Mitzi. Mitzi is very left-leaning like Ron. And she's very, sometimes, anti-development. So why isn't she in agreement with Ron on this? And right now, I think Jeff Boone came out and said, look, I might be, he didn't say Ron, but he might be suing someone that lied about it, and it was referencing Ron lying about the LDR, saying that Boone is lying and he's doing this and this and this, when in actuality, without giving any concrete information on how it's inaccurate, because it really wasn't. Regardless of where you stand, you got to look at that stuff. So back to the whole affordable housing issue, because right now the LDRs they're looking at in Venice are saying, as you see with the density bonus, they're looking at other ways, other options to try to make it so that it's more affordable, and that's one of them with the density. Will it work? Who knows? What else do we got here? They have the workhouses, they have all kinds of stuff. But what else? We got Northport. Northport, besides the inclusionary zones, I said the impact fee, which was a little strange how they want to raise that. That caught me a little off guard. I wasn't sure why they were doing that. But they've explored a broad range of possible solutions out there from these inclusionary zones to incentive for tiny homes. I've heard them talking a lot lately about tiny homes. Should we do that? Should we open up certain, who did this? The county, I was watching, I don't know, I think it might have been 3 years ago, where they opened up the opportunity to bring tiny homes in. I think it was more like in the backyard of your house where your mother-in-law could live. But is that an option over there in Northport? So they are looking at that, but then they do something like raise impact fees, which is anti-affordable housing. So what will we see? Will we see this trend continue? I don't know. Again, you're more than welcome to look at the article. It will be on the suncoastnews.com, and we'll see that article. I'll try to find the one partnership that Venice is doing, and it's just to recap. Venice is looking more at like a partnership, private, public partnerships for affordable housing, and relying on the companies to do stuff like Sharky's, where they go out and basically buy units and then offer discounted rent to their employees. And then the density issue, where they came in and said, hey, build it this way, don't raise the rent for 10 years, blah, 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 we'll give you discounts. Northport, they're looking at the inclusionary zoning and tiny houses. Sarasota County is looking at more partnerships and giving up some of their land if you build affordable housing on it. And then the city of Sarasota looking at the inclusionary issue too there. So they're all looking at different options, but as many will say, is it really the government's responsibility to be doing this? That's another question another time. So what are your thoughts on it? You can write below this post or in my group, which since they hacked and then took away my major page, most of the commentary are in the group, or anywhere else that you see that's on Instagram or Twitter or any of my other accounts, YouTube too. All right, everybody, this has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Suncoast News and Scoop.